The term polymeter describes when one element is looped over a different time than another one. So you could have a kick looped over 1 bar, while you could have a melody looped over 1.5 bar, which would essentially move the melody to different spots throughout the arrangement. You don't really understand what we're talking about? This is no problem at all. We're gonna have a look at it now in Ableton. So a few weeks ago we had this video about polyrhythms on this channel, and even I myself got confused a little bit throughout the video. So this video today is about clarifying what is actually this ominous partner of polyrhythms. It's called polymeters, as I said in the intro, and it's kind of similar but still completely different in a way. Like, just to remember, we have to look at this to remember what a polyrhythm was. If we had, for example, 4 kicks over this course of time, doesn't really matter if it's a bar or whatever, over this time period we have 4 kicks. So if we have 3 kicks over this time period now, so we go like this, and we can move this little guy like this. So if we have 3 kicks, or let's say 3 claps and 4 kicks, this is a polyrhythm. Same time, different division, right? 4, 3 over the same time. In this case, over 1 bar. This is a polyrhythm. Polymeters are something completely else, in a way. But there's obvious reasons why people connect it so much. So what we have here is a typical hi-hat pattern. All samples, by the way, from Peak Time Volume 2 sample pack. Check it out up here. But yeah, this is the easiest pattern of all times, right? Offbeat hi-hat. So can we make this a polymeter or maybe also a polyrhythm? Polyrhythm shouldn't be so difficult, right? What we do is, for example, let's say we want to make 5 instead of 4. This is 5, so we make another one. This, and there we have it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over the same time period where we have 4 kicks. So now this would be a polyrhythm. Right? All equal time distance, just in a different division. So now what would a polymeter be? I'm gonna play it for you. Maybe you will understand. What's going on here? What is this? Let me show it to you in the arrangement, right? We're quick, like this. This is a polymeter. It's defined by the length, not the division. Division doesn't matter. It's all about the length. Here, 4 kicks make up 1 bar. But this rhythm, this polymeter that we have here, only makes up 3.5 bars. So this is what we're talking about today, right? I want to show you an example. I have this clap loop here. Maybe without the hi-hats first. I mean, it's okay. It has some good ideas in it, some nice rhythm, I think. But it will very fast be a little bit boring. So what if we turn this into a polymeter? How could we do this? Well, you just take the end of the loop and put it somewhere else. That's it. Because now you shortened this section in time, right? The time package that it's looped in, and therefore it becomes a polymeter. But you have to be careful, because if you shorten it like this, it's technically, it's probably a polymeter. I don't know if that's actually right per definition, but the problem is now, because you cut it so that it repeats over 2 kicks, you won't hear the difference. But if you cut it like this over 3 kick, because we do music in a 4/4, right? You can see this here, 4/4. This is the time division that we are using for techno. So if we loop something over 3 kicks like this, it becomes very confusing very fast, because, you know, 3 kicks, but actually it's 4 kicks. So the first part of the 3 kicks is on the last kick, which means we get this, once again, moving around feeling. For this pattern, what I think the most efficient and also coolest way rhythmically is to just take away 1/16 and do it like this. So we go 15/16. So it's moving very slow, very, very slow, right? But if we compare the two, this one is, right, this one above is the not polymeter, and this one is the polymeter 15/16. So I think you get the idea that no one is going to understand this rhythm. No one. Everybody's going to be like, oh, I don't know why it keeps being cool, why it keeps being looped. The other way around. Already at the second repetition, you got it, right? You learned it, and if there is no like change at some point, there will not be. It will not be as nice and interesting to the people as this one. So especially clap patterns, for example, use this quite a lot. But that's not the only thing. Let's look at this track here, for example. What do we have here? It's one note looped over 3/16. So it's a very short loop. Very, very short. Not even one kick. Let's have a listen. So once again, can you really tell how this is working? Your brain tries to understand. It's like, oh yeah, it's always on the second kick, and then wait, no, now it's different. Now it's different again, right? So this is how polymeters work. People will never really understand them if you do them right, which is why an easy loop like this can just be so interesting over such a long time. I have another example here, 2 notes this time, also very cool. Oh, actually, wait, sorry, I wanted to have it like this. Or like this. Kind of the same thing. People will never understand why it doesn't seem to end. But now let me show you something. It's kind of similar to what we are doing right now, but it's defined by having an end, because those polymeters that are feeling like they don't have an end, this is one thing. But what you could also do is have like a polymeter rhythm. Like this, we have those 3/16 that keep repeating all the time, just different notes all the time. But in the end, right, in the end, actually this one should be here, but it isn't. So what did we do here? Let's go all the way back. Let's have a listen. So what's happening there is we do a little break, because actually we start with an empty 16th, we have a high note and a low note. So in the end, empty 16th, high note, low note, empty 16th, high note, low note, empty 16th, and another one. So there we break the polymeter and we kind of resolve it into the actual meter of the track, which is 4/4. Right? So we come back to the start after 4 bars. We could also do it later. That's not a thing, right? We could also do it like this. it would technically just delay this a little bit, and now, to be very clear, actually we would need this note, but we can also leave it there. It really depends, right? We can also do it even later. Doesn't matter. It's just important that as long as we want to keep up the poly feeling, we need to have this exact pattern that we decided for in the beginning. And then at some point we can resolve it to make the listener notice that something is resolving, that something is starting again, that, I don't know, if some new section of the track is starting, for example. Like, it's very, very cool to have like this polyrhythmic all the time. Then you come to this point where it concludes and all the hi-hats are gone all of a sudden, right? This is just some idea how to use it in your track. So for the last example, I want to show you how cool it can be also to use different polymeters in the same track. Like here, for example, we have the 3/16 polymeter. And now what we have here is some kind of happy arpeggio. And this is a 5/16 polymeter, right? It repeats over 5/16 notes. So 3, 5, and here we have the usual 4/16 on the kick. So all sorts of meters, all sorts of ideas. That's why we call it polymeter, right? Poly comes from many. And yeah, let's have a listen. Did you notice something when I added the clap? The clap is the element that makes you feel the actual meter of the track very well, because it's like one clap, no clap, clap, no clap, clap, right? So you get this kind of division of the beat of the meter into those just half a bar, right? Half a bar. 1/4 is without a clap, 1/4 is with a clap. So you will much more obvious feel that this is a polymeter. So you can play with that, right? You can have sections where you have an obvious straight element like this, but you can also have sections where you don't have that. Or you can do it like this maybe. So many possibilities to have those different polyrhythms and play around with, polymeters and play around with them, for God's sake. So this is a very interesting topic, and I hope this sheds some light on the kind of other elephant in the room, not only the polyrhythms, but this time the polymeters. If you haven't seen the last one, check it out. It's on our channel. Anyway, until then, I would say have a good time and keep making music.